Okay, happy Thursday morning to you all. It's about, I don't know, 8:15 in the morning. And it is a beautiful, crisp, clear 66 degrees out here, I think. I didn't pay attention to the high temps today, but man, it's really nice right now. So I'm headed out on the Ryker. It's been a minute since I've done a Ryker commute video. I'm going to see if I can ride it this morning and not get pissed off at it. The right wheel still flutters pretty terribly at around 45 miles an hour, 45 to 55. So I don't know if it's a separated belt in that tire, or if it's just not mounted properly, or if it's out of balance. I don't think it's out of balance. I mean, it could be out of balance, but that's not all of it. Out of balance won't cause it to go side to side. It'll cause it to hop up and down. So I don't know. I'll see if I can sort that out. I am hoping to have time maybe this weekend to pull the wheels off of it, and I'll spin balance this right wheel and watch the wheel itself to see if it's out of true. Maybe the rim is bent, or I don't know, who knows. If it's out of balance, then I'll get it balanced, obviously. And oh, nice garage band going on this year. Another thing that I'll probably do if the issue persists is swap the tires from left to right. I don't believe that these are directional. They might be. If they're directional, then I can't swap them, but if they're not directional, then I'll probably wahoo them and see if it makes any difference, or if the problem appears on the left side. If it does, then I know for sure it's the tire or the wheel, and not necessarily a balance issue or whatever. I know that my tie rod, I don't remember if it was the inner joint or the outer joint, that was covered under a warranty or recall issue several months ago, before the CVT blew up. And then I parked it, you know, when the CVT gave up, for a couple of months or so, and then I ended up taking it to the shop to have them try to repair that under warranty, but warranty wouldn't cover anything in the CVT, regardless of if it's a manufacturer defect or not. Now, I'm sure if something like that were to have happened, you know, in the first couple hundred miles or something, then they wouldn't have any choice but to say, okay, yeah, that's a defect. But because this one was nearing belt replacement, they just said, nah, we're not covering anything. Even though exploded roller weights, that's not part of a normal belt maintenance. So I'm more than a little bit peeved about that little situation, because otherwise I would have just done all the labor myself and saved myself, you know, $600 or $700 in labor, or $800, whatever it was. I don't know. It's a lot of money. These things aren't terribly hard to pull open. It's just a little bit of a logistical challenge, because you got to pull side plastics, and then you got to unhinge the upper body cover. You got to disconnect the tank and do all that kind of stuff so you don't spill fuel and blah 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 blah. So it's a little bit of a pain to get into that CVT housing, but I mean, hell, I could have done that work. So anyway, long story short, the warranty did not cover anything, and does not cover anything, regardless of manufacturer viability and defect status. If something blows up in the CVT, you're on your own, kids. And in my case, it was a couple of shattered rollers, and when they shattered and, you know, fragged out inside that CVT housing, they screwed up the one of the drive faces, the outer drive face or something like that. I don't remember what the story was, but that had to be replaced, and that was a $200 and something, $300 something item. So yeah. Goody. Anyway, that's the quick recap on where I am with the Ryker. I will see how my temperature on it goes over the next few hundred miles, 1,000 miles, whatever. I don't know. I'll try to ride it around a little bit more and reacquaint myself with its issues, and decide whether I can tolerate those or not, or if it's just time for it to find a new home. I've always said this thing's got great potential. I like the idea of it. I like the platform, but the handling quirks on mine have just been persistent and won't die. You know, no matter how much money or resources or time or anything that I throw at it, it won't go away. I've had it laser aligned 5 times at my expense, $150 a pop or whatever it is, and you know, it's been that way since day one. So that should have been covered under warranty. You know, plain and simple. That it was delivered in a untenable state. It was pulling hard to the right into the curb. If you let your hands off the bars, it would just dive right into the curb. So that was definitely a factory problem. And because I was an early adopter, you know, early test pilot on the Ryker, first one in Texas, the dealers didn't know how to service these things. They didn't have the tools to service them. Nobody had the laser alignment kits for months and months and months until James up at Thornoli's managed to get his Rollo laser alignment kit and the jigs and everything that he needed to do the alignments on these things, and he was the first one to do the alignment. I think he was the only one in the Houston area doing alignments on Rykers for quite a while. And then finally the dealers got tooled up and they decided, okay, they'll pony up for $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever the kit costs to do the laser alignments. And now, you know, the dealers are starting to do it. But to my understanding, it's still not part of the PDI or pre-delivery inspection to verify the alignment on these things before they're given to a customer, which I think is, I can understand it from a labor and logistics standpoint, but you know, that should be ferreted out pretty quickly with the quality check ride before it's handed off to a customer. So that just needs to be added to the PDI, in my opinion. And then of course the labor to do that job needs to be reimbursed by Can-Am to the dealer, because you know, if the thing comes off the assembly line messed up, then you know, it's not the dealer's fault. It's certainly not the new owner's fault that just inherited that problem. Yeah, so if I decide to sell this, timing is going to be kind of the question. You know, when do I sell it? Do I sell it in the fall here while the weather is still good for riding? Because you know, whenever you sell motorcycles or power sport, you got to be in the right season or you take a bath on the sale price. So if I sell it, I need to do it in the next few weeks, month, whatever. Otherwise, the riding season is kind of drawing to a close for most of the U.S. I mean, Texas, we still have great riding weather almost all year round, but that doesn't mean people want to get out in it and go, you know, a little bit cold on their rides. So the next season to sell is early spring, you know, March, April time frame. So I don't know. I'll see. It's darting around still, you know. I'm just accustomed to that. I don't even complain about it much anymore because I'm so used to it. It doesn't. Every time you hit a bump or a rise, the bike tracks left, right pretty rapidly. Like right there, it's jockeying, and I'm not doing that. I haven't felt the wheel flutter yet, but I got past, you know, 45 to 55 range pretty quickly, so I didn't spend any prolonged time there for it to set up its side-to-side oscillation. And it could be wheel imbalance, I don't know. I mean, it just might be out of balance, and somehow, because of this steering geometry or suspension geometry, it allows it to kind of yaw a little bit as it's going up and down. I don't know. I would certainly hope not, but... So, my trip plans coming up, I'm hoping, very much hoping to be able to leave late next week, probably Thursday, what would that be, October 6th, to head up to Annapolis, Maryland for the Life of Birch meetup. I don't know 100% if I'm going to be able to get out or not. I'm trying. I've got a couple of jobs that were lined up for kind of middle of that week and that weekend, and I'm trying to reschedule them and not lose them. But if I can make that, then I will certainly do that, and then I'll be coming back probably Tuesday, you know, leaving Sunday, traveling late Sunday, Monday, and then, you know, returning late Monday, whatever it is, or into Tuesday morning. And then I've got about 2 days to prep for my next big trip, which is going to be with Neil and Adrian and apparently several other people to head up to the Ozarks kind of general area. We're going to do about a 1,500 mile loop, starting at the southern end of the Natchez Trace, and we're going to ride almost the entire length of the Natchez Trace north into the corner of Tennessee, and then kind of head due northwest over into the corner of Illinois and around through Missouri back to Arkansas, and then kind of through the corner of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and end out in the Sabine National Forest. So it's a planned 8-day adventure. And anybody that wants to tag along, you're welcome to come. I will post all of the details about that here in the link or in the video description below, and I'll also try to do a quick live stream or a dedicated video on that ride in the next couple days, and I'll post that and I'll link it here as well. So that'll have our itinerary of where we're going to be, when we're going to be, in case anybody wants to join in. Meet us up, meet up with us along the route. You don't have to ride the whole thing. If you just want to come out and meet for a day ride, fine. If you want to hang around for a day or two and moto camp, that's fine. This is not an official event. It's not scored or anything like that, but we are treating it as a pre-Cannonball Run shakedown ride for anybody that is trying to build up their endurance for 400-mile days, that kind of thing. Now, all right, everybody, welcome back. Breakfast is done. I hope that my morning ride in was partially recorded, or I don't know. I went to turn the camera off when I got here, and it took 3 or 4 minutes for it to shut down, so usually that's a bad indication. What I was talking about on my way in was I ordered a new camera. Well, among other things is what I was talking about. I ordered the new GoPro 11 and the media mod and all that, so I'm finally upgrading my camera rigs to get away from all the Hero 7 problems that I've been having. These GoPro 7s have always given me trouble, but it's getting worse lately with the lockups and weird behavior and all that, so I don't know, I'm just tired of dealing with it. I'll keep the 7s for B-roll and alternate camera angles and stuff like that, but I can't rely on them for the main camera function. Why are my handlebars? Look at this. My handlebars are locked down, but they're still sliding forward back all by themselves. What the F? What? I gotta undo that, tighten it up again. I felt it on the way in. I hit the brakes real hard and lean into the bars, and felt the bars shift. Wondered why. Yep, still floating. Damn it. Hey, Rykers. So I need to stop by the warehouse and take care of a couple things this morning, and then I've got some scheduled stops that I need to make today. I'll be selling the Yamaha FZ6 today, probably. I need to take it to a motorcycle shop in the Cypress area today. They're going to look at it and appraise it and tell me what they're going to offer me for it, so we'll see how that goes. It should be worth, $5,000 and change, just based on market value of what everybody else has been getting, so we'll see. I have touring accessories and some other stuff for it that I might pull off if they don't want those, or they're not going to offer, additional money. My Shad SH36 side bags that I originally got for that bike and for my CB500. It's the same one that fits the pannier mount on this. I'll sell those with the bike if they want to up the price. Otherwise, I'll just keep those bags for me, because I need one for the right side of this, at least for a little while. And then I'll pull the mounts, the 3P mounts off of that FZ6. I also have a rear top box mount that I had to order out of the UK because they never sold them here for that FZ6. So anyway, I got the full Shad luggage mounting system for that FZ6 that might be sold separately somewhere, somehow, I don't know. So if I end up selling this one, I will probably pull the Elka suspension off of here. I think I mentioned that before. unless, you know, the price is proportionately higher with the Elka on there. Oh, bad Ferrari. Ouchie. Oh, that looks like retaining wall. I see rubber. I don't know, maybe he clipped somebody else. Damn, that hurts. That's expensive. Yikes. Yeah, and anyway, so I'll put the factory suspension back on this thing and sell the Elka stuff separately. It still has the BRP upgraded sway bar in the front of it that I put on there ages ago. The end links are still plastic on here, so if I keep it, I'll probably put some billet end links on this thing to maybe stiffen up the front of it a little bit more, but yeah, whatever. So I've arrived. I will catch you all later today for the other fun that ensues. Catch you later. All right, well, headed out again to take care of some appointments and go get that FZ6R appraised. Well, I wouldn't like the appraisal on that one. That would suck. Hello. Man, I love this weather. Woo, fantastic. It's barely 70 degrees right now. Feels absolutely wonderful out here. Forgot to adjust my bars while I was there at the warehouse. This loose clamp is bugging me. I need to get a thin common screwdriver is what fits in there. It's a very narrow screw head recess right there. I don't know if you can see it on camera. A normal common screwdriver with the right thickness doesn't quite fit, so you got to put a little bit of an undersized one in there. Loosen the clamp, crank it down about a quarter turn, and then tighten it up again. I need to check with the shop and find out exactly what they did service-wise on this. I'm also gonna give them a shot at rebalancing this tire, because I just bought it from them, you know, a few months ago, but there's only 100 or so miles, a couple hundred miles on it, maybe. I'm going to ask them what they did during the belt service and see if they did the full, normal, everything service, you know, oil change, the rear diff check, all that kind of stuff. Find out if it was the major maintenance. If not, then I need to get those things taken care of, and I'll just do it myself. Can't see paying another 150 or 200 bucks for an oil change. Not at this point. Not considering the add-on warranty doesn't really cover much of anything. What's the point in trying to do everything on the warranty card if they're not going to cover stuff anyway? This thing's idling kind of rough again too. I've noticed that since I got it back. It's kind of hunting a little bit too much and stumbling at idle. So I'm wondering if one or more of my spark plugs are loose again, like they were when I did my I found it when I upgraded them a while back. Realized that the I think it was the front two cylinders were both barely finger tight. Didn't even need to put a wrench on them. I could just spin them right out. I just got in here to pull the plugs, and this rear plug wasn't even finger tight. So let's see how tight this plug is. Nope, that one's tightened at least. I don't know how tight. We're ready to find out. No, it was barely tight. And let's give it one thumb. Oh, look at that. One thumb just barely touched it. So these plugs were only in there maybe 2 foot-pounds, all three of them. It's crazy. And it was hiccuping at idle, so I think that was part of it. It was running lean, losing compression because of that. my signal on and he nails the gas to try to block me. I don't think so, jackass. I don't know why Houston drivers are such douchebags, man. If you ever signal and try to drive nice, everybody will just stomp all over you. It is so hard to drive or ride nice in this city, man. Put your signal on, people will intentionally speed up and bracket the spot that you need and then slow down and just hold it, just to block you. It's not that they want to drive faster. They're going faster than you and they want to stay out in front. No, they just speed up to block because they're douchebags. It's so annoying. The new Rykers come with electronic cruise control, or I guess it's an option, something like that, I don't know. But apparently the new Ryker Sport or whatever, you can get electronic cruise control on it. That's awesome. I mean, it's throttle by wire, so I don't know why they couldn't have included it to begin with. But, you know, I've mentioned it before, this is not an ideal touring machine. You know, the constant fighting to keep it in line. It's not a bike you can just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. It's more of a sporty bruiser. Just never track straight. It's always shimmying left, right. You let go of it, it's in another lane. That's the odd thing about the handling on this. The shimmying and the erratic tracking and all that, it doesn't get worse at higher speeds. I've never been able to figure that out. Normally, if you've got a vehicle that's tracking erratically because of toe out or some other weird suspension geometry issue, it gets worse at higher speeds. But this one doesn't seem to do it. It begins at around 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. You can feel it pulling and kind of darting around, but it doesn't get worse even up above 100 miles an hour. It's weird. I've got tons of accessories for this thing that if I sell it, I don't know if I'm going to sell everything as a package deal or try to sell those independently, but I've got the Max mount plate for the back of it. I have stuff that clips onto that. I've got the detachable bag. I hear my phone ringing in my pocket. It'll have to wait. I've got the detachable bag that goes on that Max plate. I've also got the cooler, the beverage cooler. Got a bunch of stuff. You know, I got the shad bag that goes on the side of it. Obviously the windscreen, all the original stuff that was with it. I might just try my hand at fixing the alignment on this thing myself. Just unlock those two turnbuckles on the right side suspension over there and crank it in, give it a little bit more toe in just on the right side, just a hair, and see if that fixes the problem, because it always pulls right. Since day one, it has always pulled right. So there's something probably just welded wrong on the frame over here. Something that's just goofy with it. I don't know. Because whenever James has put it up on the rack and done the laser alignment, it's been out varying degrees every single time he's looked at it, and he'll get it set properly, and then it feels like it's better for a short time, but then it goes straight to hell again. So I don't know if that's because of the loosening tie rods that it had, or if there's, you know, control arm bushings that are bad, or ball joints that are bad, or whatever, but it has always pulled to the right, always. Like a lot. And it's more than just crown of the road, because even on a crowned road that's crowned left, the thing wants to track straight or still pull right. So that means it's definitely got toe out toward the right side. I mean, it could be drastic toe in on the left, but it's usually not the case. The tricky thing with these three-wheelers is you've got thrust alignment with the rear wheel, and in the Can-Am's situation, you don't have any adjustability in that rear wheel because it's fixed to the swing arm. I mean, I guess that would be another potential issue, is maybe the swing arm bushings on this thing are bad, and that's what's causing it to be out of kilter, but yeah, whatever. So you can't adjust the rear thrust angle, so you just have to figure out what your rear thrust is facing forward, and then get your front two wheels lined up pretty much perpendicular to that, and then give it just a hair of toe in. So I don't know, maybe I'll fart around with that right side wheel and toe it in a bit. There it is, stumbling. Felt like it just about died right there. Yeah, I'll have to pull the front trunk tray out of it and check my spark plug tension. I'm firmly convinced that the only reason that my front two plugs didn't blow out of this thing a long time ago is because the coil packs on top are captive. They're screwed down to the top of the valve cover. So that's the only thing that was preventing that, especially the front plug from unscrewing itself and just thunk. All right, everybody. Well, home again for round one of the day. Got at least one more round to go, probably two more. So I will catch up with you in a bit for the next part of the ride. We hope.